Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Fridays from the Farm with Farmer Chris. I am outside of our Brookside greenhouse for a very important reason. You can tell that we had some precipitation. It fell frozen. The cool thing that I wanted to show you here is that there is snow on top of the greenhouse. Now remember, in our previous videos, we've found that the inside of that greenhouse is warm. And so for me, inside of the greenhouse being warm should mean that snow melts. And so what it illustrates is how good of an insulative barrier that air gap is, where the inside of the greenhouse can maintain its warmth, but then there's enough of a gap where that warmth doesn't escape and make its way out of the greenhouse to the point where the snow doesn't even melt. Let's go inside and see what the temperature is, because out here it's about 20 degrees. Here we are inside. Veggies growing, looking good. Sun shining through, but shaded just a little bit by that snow. But I can feel the warmth. Let's take a look at the thermometer. Here we go. Let's read Fahrenheit. 60 degrees, probably about 59 degrees. So remember, 20 degrees outside, 59 degrees inside, and yet the snow on top isn't just melting off of there. Insulation. Cool. So, quick random update on a different device because I was getting ready to move on with my day, but I had to stop. Looking at the power of the sun and then temperatures. If you look up at the greenhouse that we filmed earlier this morning, you can see several lines of ice that are left. Those are in the shadow of utility lines. So the power lines, the shadow of the power lines that are straight up above us, casting a shadow over onto our greenhouse roof, was enough to keep the ice cool in those lines to not melt. That's awesome. That's crazy awesome. One, that our ice melted, but also that there's just that tiny little zone that's enough that those wires right up there block the sun from melting that ice. That's cool. That's cool. Hey everybody, so here we are out in the garden at Brookside, and I wanted to bring you here because gardens in this time of year are very interesting. A lot of the times in my past, I felt that a garden in this season was inactive, that it was just kind of there, or maybe even dead. There was a perception that it was dead, but I can tell you that there's so much going on, and right now, it's really important stuff. So this is leaf litter, and it's doing two things. One, it's creating almost like a blanket effect where it's warming up the soil underneath. It's also protecting all of the microinvertebrates and the soil profile, and essentially just softening the environment's impact on the soil layer that we're eventually going to try and grow nutrient-rich produce in. The best thing you can do this time of year with soil, garden beds, landscape beds, is to leave it alone. Let that residue break down. Let those invertebrates and all the cool life and the sun and the environment do its work, and you shall enjoy the results. Let's go take a look at another thing down the way. This is a great example of what we call crop residue. We actually let some season crops go into this stage where the environment, the climate, the weather has all yellowed it out and died, and it's made it really, kind of funky. This is not Swiss chard that we would want to eat, but these resources, this isn't Swiss chard, this is parsley. Either way, it is becoming organic residue. It's going in and breaking down, putting nitrogen back in the soil, it's putting fiber, it's just making sure that this area, this bed, stays fertile. We could go through and disrupt it, but in all reality, this is nature's way of doing that for itself. And so, when it is time to plant, all of this will get turned in, it will be beneficial, it will have been a nice cover crop, similar to the leaf residue that we had. What a really cool outcome, and one that the garden's doing itself. Really excited to see what comes out of this next year. Have you heard about the guy that invented knock-knock jokes? He won a Nobel Prize.